back live at the Miami Bowl at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida. The Dolphins trailing the Raiders 17-7 at halftime. As you know, as anyone would know, a football game, no matter how important in its sphere of reference, is a small thing when compared to a threat upon the life of our president. And that is why now we're going to take you to our distinguished host of the ABC Evening News and one of the great men of news in this country, Mr. Harry Reasoner, for an up-to-the-minute report on the threat upon our president's life today.
Thank you, Howard. The president is now on Air Force One, somewhere over the Midwest, a little more than an hour to go before he lands in Washington. Mr. Ford is all right. He had a close call in San Francisco earlier today when a 45-year-old woman, Sarah Moore, allegedly tried to shoot him. She will be arraigned in San Francisco within the hour in the attempted assassination. For details on what happened there, here is ABC White House correspondent Steve Bell.
It happened as the president was leaving the St. Francis Hotel after his last scheduled appearance. The president appeared stunned momentarily, but he was not hit. He was quickly pushed into a crouching position, into his limousine, and in moments the motorcade was underway, rushing away from the trouble area toward the airport. The hero of the hour, a San Francisco policeman named Joseph Curry. It was he who saw the gun in a woman's hands moments before she had a chance to fire. He struck her arm just as the gun went off, and the bullet crashed into the pavement. The woman was quickly identified as Sarah Jean Moore, 45 years old, a known political activist in the San Francisco area. She had been part of that People in Need program, the massive food giveaway organized last year as part of the effort to free Patricia Hearst after she had first been kidnapped. Police here say that Sarah Moore had been listed as a person potentially dangerous to the president. The police say she was checked out by the Secret Service just Sunday night, but released after questioning. Now again, the shooting incident from another angle, this one filmed by KGO television here in San Francisco. President pausing to wave before getting in the limousine. Despite some of the heaviest security anyone traveling with the president could remember, a shot had been fired. Thanks to San Francisco policeman Joseph Curry, the shot missed the president, crashing instead into the pavement. The suspect, Sarah Moore, had been standing just across the street from where the president came out of the St. Francis Hotel. Within seconds after the shot had been fired, she was subdued by Curry and other officers standing nearby. A young girl fell to the pavement in front of the Moore woman, apparently in a faint. Screams of fright, confusion in the crowd as some 3,000 people stood by. Then the police and Secret Service agents rushed Sarah Moore across the street and into the hotel for initial questioning.
Steve Bell, this is Harry Reasoner in New York. I understand you now have some additional details about Ms. Moore.
Harry, for one thing, we know that she was picked up by the police Sunday on a tip. They were told that a person might be found at a certain address in a car with a gun. They went and staked out that area. They found Miss Moore. They confronted her. In her purse, they found a .44 caliber pistol. According to the latest report we have, the shells, however, were not in the gun. And because of this, under California law, they had no reason to arrest her. They did take her into the station. The police officer who was part of it says, we didn't book her because you can't book on that according to our state laws. It's a citation offense. It's a felony if you carry brass knuckles, a billy club, a blackjack, a dagger, or an ice pick, but a gun is only a misdemeanor. So after citing her, they had to let her go. And then the officer says when he heard the report of an attempted shooting at the president today, he wondered in his own mind if that was the woman they had talked to Sunday. It was. And it was after the police had picked her up with that gun, the police say, that Secret Service agents interrogated her, and she was still released after questioning and was able to be present here today.
Thank you, Steve. Again, President Ford was not hurt in the incident today outside the St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco. He was rushed to his car and taken to the airport, where he boarded Air Force One for the flight back to Washington. Police have arrested the San Francisco woman identified as Sarah Moore. She's due to be arraigned shortly on charges that she attempted to shoot Mr. Ford. Again, he was not hurt. He's due to arrive in Washington in an hour or so, and if he speaks at the airport, we'll be back with his remarks. I'm Harry Reasoner. Now back to Howard Cosell.
Thank you very much, Harry, for that up-to-the-minute report. Now, of course, we're at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida. We're at halftime. Miami trailing a powerhouse Oakland display tonight, 17-7 at halftime. And we'll be back with our halftime highlights in just a moment. You know that's our practice every year, to bring you the highlights of Sundays.
And indeed they are. They got off to a great start yesterday, defeating San Diego 37-0. Not ready for the kickoff of the second half here at the Orange Bowl in Miami, a jam-packed Orange Bowl, 80,000 fans. We'll tell you we abbreviated our highlights, our customary halftime activity, showing you all of the highlights from around the league, or as much as we can, as time permits. Obviously, a bigger reason for us to go to New York. That's the unfortunate happening today in San Francisco.
All right, back to the game, Frank, with the kickoff about to occur. Miami had to have gotten some kind of lift from their touchdown late in the second quarter. Earl Morrow warming up. I would doubt that we'd be seeing him in action.
He's got so much arthritis that he has to, warm up that arm.
You said it.
20 years in the league for Earl Morrow. Had a great preseason as Gary Apremian gets the foot to it. Taken by Harold Hart at his 7. And Hart rumbles out over the 30 to the 32-yard line. And we are anticipating the offensive lineup that we saw in the first half. Kenny Stabler at quarterback. We'll check the setbacks as they come in, but the wide receivers will be Cliff Branch, number 21, Fred Biletnikoff, number 25, the tight end, Bob Moore. Setbacks, Harold Hart, 34. Pete Banaszak, number 40. Marv Hubbard had a dislocated shoulder. We will not see him any further this evening. Just over the 32-yard line, the Oakland Raiders, who got off to a 17-0 lead. Miami came back, scored 7 of their own. It's a closer football game as Banaszak tries the left side. And we'll be interested to see what Don Shula has done with the middle of his defensive unit. Mike Colon is back in, a middle linebacker. He had some kind of problem, went out in the first half. But he is back in there, replacing the rookie, Steve Toll.
Let's give Oakland's offensive line credit. It's one of the best in football. 64 Bielis, 63 Upshaw, a pair of great guards, almost matching or matching in efficiency. Little and Kuchenberg of Miami. They can blow out any defensive line.
Second down and 8. Ball resting just over the 35. Draw play, and it goes to Harold Hart. Harold Hart. That's a couple of yards, moving out to the 37-yard line. They'll mark it just short of the 38. So Oakland having trouble. They went right back to where they had their success in the middle of the Miami Dolphin line. This time Miami has put Oakland back in a passing situation. The secondary for Miami. Jarris White is at the right cornerback, or rather the left cornerback. Curtis Johnson is in there at the right cornerback. The safeties are number 44, Barry Hill. Jake Scott's in there. Babb's in there. They're all anticipating pass when they get it. And a good pressure put on Stabler. The ball is overthrown. Miami holds on their first series of downs. They'll get the football back. Pass intended for Moore, well covered by Charlie Babb.
Well, I don't know that Shula told them anything at halftime. That kind of stuff is overrated. It's part of football lore, especially dating back to the years of Rockne at Notre Dame. But obviously, Miami itself has come out spirited and has forced a quick turnover of the football, which they couldn't do for most of the first half.
Ray Guy will punt to Freddie Solomon. Only Oakland's second punt of the night. Guy gets off a good punt. Solomon from his own 20. And getting down there quickly, Warren Bankston. He is a special teams expert and a flag is down at the 34. Flag down at the 34-yard line. Good punt by Guy. Good coverage. Flipping against Miami.
Well, that's a bad one. Deprives them of a decent field position, puts them right back in the hole. So they've got a long way to go, Giffer.
Offensively for Miami, Gracie comes back out onto the field. You had watched Earl Morrall warming up. As Alex Karras said, he just needed to loosen up some limbs that have aged a little, over 20 years in the NFL. But Gracie's in there. Setbacks are Mercury Morris, 22. Norm Bulash, number 31. Wide receivers, 89. Nat Moore. Howard Twilley, number 81. The tight end, Mandich, 88.
Flipping was on the rookie back of Miami, Stan Winfrey, the kid from Arkansas State.
First and 10 for Miami. Move from just short of their 13-yard line. Bulash over the right side. Phil Villapiano coming in from his linebacking spot to make the stop. Defensive front four for Oakland. Doing a good job throughout the first half against the veteran offensive line of Miami. Langers at center. Little, 66. Kuchenberg, 67, the guards. Wayne Moore, left tackle, 79. Norm Evans, 73, the right tackle. Gain of 4 for Bulash. It'll be second down and 6. Morris. Otis Sistrunk. And Alex, Otis Sistrunk seems to improve every time we watch him.
Well, he can move laterally as good as any defensive lineman I've ever seen, and that's really what he can do best. As far as the run is concerned, I don't know. He's a little weak on the run at times, but I'm not going to argue with Otis. He's a big guy, and he wears garlic around his neck, and he can do anything he wants to Howard.
He's your man. You're saddled with him for the rest of the season, even as you were a year ago. I'll not fight with you. There's Don Shula. The indomitability etched in the visit.
On third down. Hey. Prevent defense. Fully left. Moore right. Crazy with a lot of time and gets off the completion. Now that's Moore from the wide spot, breaking in, finding the hole.
That's the kind of pass I like to see, Alex. Man moves out, comes back, no way to stop it. The ball there virtually as he turns around and comes back. Watch this. Oh, really?
Neil Colsey was in there on the prevent defense. Made the stop. First down for Miami. They're at the 29-yard line.
I must have seen Giff do that 200 times in his career.
What was that?
Without the speed of
Neil Colsey did. On first and 10. Willie in motion. Gracie again, and again with good protection. Wants to go deep, intended for Howard Twilley, not noted for the split legs.
Exactly the point. You can't beat anybody deep with Howard Twilley. Twilley is hard to contain within a restricted area because he is so clever, because he moves so well. But for the deep bomb, no way.
Defensively, we saw Otis Sistrunk again with pressure. Horace Jones is a defensive end along with Tony Klein, number 84. Jones is 82. Sistrunk, of course, 60. Kelvin Carver remains in there, number 71 defensive tackle. The linebackers are Monty Johnson in the middle, number 58. Phil Villapiano, 41. Zero Irons, 86. Second down and 10. Inside handoff, and it goes to Morris. He skips to the outside, turns the corner, runs into Willie Brown. Picks up a couple of yards. Give him 3. It'll be third down and 7. That was Larry Seipel, I believe.
He dances with a football the way Alex dances in the dance-off.
Seipel with a good block out there, too.
Seipel happens to be one of the better all-around players in the league in terms of versatility. Again, I'll remind our viewers and listeners of his superb run on a presumed punt situation that carried the Dolphins to a victory over the Steelers a couple of years back in the playoffs.
He's in there for the passing down. He's in there wearing number 20. Good receiver. Oh, you saw jump in the count. Pass attempt going to Mandage. Flag is down at the line of scrimmage, and Nat Moore, I believe, was a young man who anticipated that count by about a beat.
At least.
Incompletion will be declined. Oakland wants the football.
Well, you know, we talked about earlier, Miami just can't run that ball, and they can't keep that ball like they used to with the big runners, fullback that they used to have in Zonka. And consequently, they've been throwing the ball more, and they just have to give up the ball more often. Of course, when you give up the ball, that means that the team that's playing against you can score more often. It's as simple as that. They can't control it.
That makes sense.
Seifel punts. Colsey, the single safety, and Seifel gets off a bad kick. The ball will be down at the 37-yard line. Good field position for Oakland on a 29-yard Seifel punt. We'll be back in the Orange Bowl with 9:47 remaining in the third quarter after this.
Austria, site of the 1976 Winter Games, where Goodyear took an American car over icy mountain roads to demonstrate the ice traction of a totally new kind of winter tire, the Goodyear F32 all-winter radial. A tire that works on ice and hard-packed snow without metal studs. We call it the Ice Radial. It's made with an amazing rubber compound that stays flexible even at temperatures below zero. So flexible it can conform to the icy surface of the road. It also has a unique tread design with hundreds of gripping edges for ice. Deep traction bars for snow, plus Flex 10 belts for strength and long radial mileage. So get a hold on winter with an alternative to metal studs. Get the Ice Radial. Only from Goodyear.
Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Alex Karras with 9:47 remaining in the third quarter from the Orange Bowl in Miami, where the Oakland Raiders lead the Miami Dolphins 17-7. This program being brought to you as a special exclusive of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds and allow our local stations along the line to identify themselves. The Oakland Raiders have a 1st and 10. They'll begin operation from their own 37-yard line. They at one time had a 17-0 lead. 2 Banaszak touchdowns in the first half, a 25-yard field goal, and here's Banaszak again, and not getting the yardage he got in the first half. It's about a yard. Miami came back with a typical Miami drive of 74 yards, shortened the lead to 17-7, and that's where we are at the moment. What appeared to be a runaway has now settled back to a seesaw battle.
Well, it's simple because that front four of Miami is starting to take over a little bit, and there isn't anything you can teach those guys during a halftime. They physically have to get to the ball clear. They physically have to beat up the guy in front of them. It's a very simple task if they want to do it.
2nd down and 9. Hagler goes to Hart on the screen. And Hart gets the 1st down and more, moving into Miami territory. 15-yard pickup. Hart going out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Taken out of bounds there by Curtis Johnson. Harold Hart, 11th round pick last year. Real surprise.
I think the fans have read and heard enough about the recent strike in the National Football League. And I think they know that management's proposal was placed before the players early today. What the eventual outcome will be, management did offer some concession. It remains to be seen if a whole new hassle will begin.
On 1st down, Stabler looking over the middle where he had success in the first half for Cliff Branch. Branch having trouble staying on his feet tonight. He slipped and fell again.
Well, we're talking about artificial turf, and when they brought in artificial turf, it was supposed to take care of things like that. It was supposed to make it an even game because you wouldn't slip as much. There's an example right there.
He wouldn't have caught that anyway.
This is not one of your better surfaces as artificial surfaces go. It's been known to be slippery in the past. As a matter of fact, the Miami Dolphins have not lost a game here in 31 times out. Going all the way back to 1971 of the New York Jets. On 2nd down. Here he comes Jess Phillips. Phillips. He can run. A bucking Bronco to the 25-yard line. Finally, Bernd Dinherter makes the tackle in pursuit.
They are just chewing up yardage now against this Miami team. Frank mentioned Miami hadn't lost here in 31 times out. On the other side of the coin, Oakland has lost its last 5 opening games, all away from home. But there's a time for everything.
And I talked to Jess Phillips about the idea of the New Orleans peddling him, and he said he went in the office, and the guy said that he was looking for younger ball players. This guy's only been in the league 8 years, and I think he's terrific.
First down at the 25. Beginning to call now is Van Egan. And the second-year youngster from Colgate inside the 5-yard line. Finally stopped by Curtis Johnson. Mark Van Egan, who broke a couple of Marv Hubbard's records at Colgate.
Boy, did that offensive Oakland line blow them out. Wow.
Well, what's so bad, again,
Bella and Beeler and Upshaw.
They're knocking the linemen right back into the linebackers, and they can't help out at all. It's just a real mess in the middle right now. There's confusion going on.
First and goal. The ball just short of the 3-yard line. The 2 tight ends in for Oakland, Moore and Casper. Van Egan gets the call again. The attorney for the defense, Howard.
That fellow with the head bowed is Nick Bonaconi, number 85. Practicing barrister. Great middle linebacker for so many years. And in personal agony, you see the cast on the thumb that was broken that sidelined him. And I mentioned under the 43-man roster limit, Shula felt compelled to put him on injured reserve, which means he's out for the year. Tough for a guy like that to sit and watch, just as it's tough for Jim Otto, who said today he felt like his life was over.
Second and goal. Van Egan scores. Mark Van Egan touchdown. This drive had, coming up to the last scoring play, had consecutive games of 15, 22, and 21. And Van Egan has just gone in from the 2-yard line.
He made it look easy on that drive, Alex.
You know, you're talking about Jim Otto, and it really is funny because I saw him today. He's now the business manager, and instead of talking about the guy he has to play against tonight, he was talking about how much meals have gone up over there at the hotel.
18 and a half bucks a man for dinner last night, he said.
He was very unhappy.
Different priorities. George Blanda had the conversion for Oakland, and the Raiders are now out front of the Dolphins 24-7. 6 minutes and 58 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter from Miami, where we'll return in just a moment.
These are Motorcraft Auto Parts. In tests supervised by an independent testing company, over 6,000 parts like these were installed in fleets of Ford, Plymouth, and Chevy taxis to see how tough the parts really were. After 3 million tough taxi miles, less than 1% of the parts couldn't take the punishment. When your car needs a battery, oil filter, shock absorbers, or tune-up parts, ask for Motorcraft Quality Auto Parts from Ford. Taxi tested tough.
My smart told me I need right guard double protection.
My tux told me I need right guard double protection.
If your clothes don't look and smell fresh, try Right Guard Double Protection Antiperspirant. It's an anti-odor antiperspirant. Helps protect you and your clothes from wetness, stains, and odor.
My coat told me I need Right Guard Double Protection. Oh.
Your clothes will tell you if you need Right Guard Double Protection.
Okay, another beautiful view of the Orange Bowl, where Oakland now has a top-heavy 24-7 lead over the Miami Dolphins. A view via our blimp, the Mayflower. And here is the Giffer to pick up with the kickoff.
Ray Guy kicking to 86. Freddie Solomon, 22. Mercury Morris. Morris, 2 yards deep. He'll stay there. Touchback.
Let's have another look at that touchdown. Once again, the hole is opened, and young Van Egan of Colgate goes in for the score. Imagine one of the most powerful teams in the NFL having 2 backs on the team from Colgate. The Red Raiders of the Shenango Valley can be joyous about this event.
Miami will move from their 20-yard line. Following the touchback, Willie out to the left, out to the right, and that's Moore. The setback, Kulash, 31, Morris, 22. Easy. That's the problem. He gets away from Otis Sistrunk. Out of bounds. Complete to Nat Moore. No. Linesman Burl Toller gave an indication that it did appear that it was caught out of bounds, but now they say he caught it at the 33-yard line, a 13-yard pickup and a first down. Now let's look at Nat Moore working against Skip Thomas. Here's Thomas looking back as Greasy got in trouble, and there he is all alone. And that's the reason. Jack Tatum hit him. He came down out of bounds.
Here comes Manny Sistrunk doing a good job rushing. He's getting held a little bit. He's waltzing with his guard. Larry Little's doing he did a pretty good job. Larry Little did a pretty good job on Sistrunk at that time. Didn't hold him.
First down for Miami. Jeffrey Morris. Morris moves out to the 37-yard line, just short of the 38. A gain of 4. It'll be second down and 6.
Frank, this Saturday, ABC's Wide World of Sports has a very special show. Ali against Frazier, Super Fight 1, the classic battle in 71, and then the avenging battle. The first one won by Frazier, the second by Ali in 74. Plus, via the satellite, live, the weigh-in of the two. Some 48 hours before Super Fight 3. That's ABC's Wide World of Sports this Saturday.
Second down and 6.
Is destined to replace Gerald Irons, but Gerald Irons is a pretty good customer to replace.
Gerald Irons is a very good linebacker, and of course he's from Gary, Indiana, which I hail from, and a great representative from that city. And incidentally, my brother Teddy is going to be a councilman in Gary, so that's quite a deal.
And Gary, Indiana was a famous song from the Music Man. Where do we go from there?
I'll sing it later.
Miami moving. They trail 24-7. Fully in motion. Hand off to Gulash. Gulash over midfield, down to the 47-yard line. Hit by Phil Villapiano.
Well, they're putting some life into the game with this drive, the Dolphins are. Greasy in trouble, scrambling, set it up with a saving pass to Nat Moore. We've got an injury on the field. Who is that, Giff? Can you tell?
I can't see for the moment. One of the defensive linemen appears to be Kelvin Korver, number 71.
The number 1 draft choice of Al Davis a few years back from Northwestern of Iowa, filling in tonight for Art Toms, number 80.
You know, and Toms has come into the ball game. He has a full muscle. Oakland came into this game with only 16 defensive ball players, so they can afford to lose none of their defensive players. We'll be back in just a moment.
When the sun goes down and you catch the last wave of the afternoon and take that long, sweet ride home, none of the wipeouts seem to matter. Now comes Miller time. Time to look back on all the big ones of the day with the best-tasting beer you can find. America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
You got the time, we got the beer, Miller beer.
In Sweden, the simple pleasures mean more to a man, like bourbon-flavored Borkum Riff. A softer, milder smoke that could only have come from Sweden. Borkum Riff. One of life's simple pleasures.
Kelvin Korver, the defensive tackle, being helped to the Oakland Raiders bench. It appeared that he had hurt his left knee. There he is, Kelvin, third-year man at Northwestern College in Iowa. He's been replaced out there by Art Toms. Now, Art Toms, the Raiders were hoping, would not have to play tonight because he has a very badly pulled muscle. Second down and 4. The ball is at the 47.
partisan-minded here, Frank.
They are when they're ahead.
They'll threaten your life if they're not on the halftime highlight.
You should know, having left Miami out so many times a couple of years ago.
Had nothing to do with it.
There's the measurement. Our Tom's obscuring our view, but referee Jim Tunney indicating about 6 inches.
Let me tell you, I know of Alex's affection for 60, Otis Sistrunk, but in my book, our Tom's number 80 out of Syracuse, who took several years to develop, has become the outstanding defensive lineman on Oakland and one of the very best in the National Football League. Tremendous football player.
That's okay. I'll tell Otis about it, Howard. You figure it out.
I'll get Ali. Don't worry me.
On third down.
He used the Nashville song.
Bullock gets the first down and moves inside the 40. Hit there by Monty Johnson.
Big Boo's beginning to hit in there.
Just literally carried Johnson for the extra yardage. 3:51 remaining in the third quarter.
Now, you watch Tom's, the guy that Howard was talking about. He is doing what we call a thing, hiding his head in the dirt. And consequently, what happens when you do that is the back runs right over you. Now, that is not a great play, Howard. Otis didn't do that.
Oh, Otis does. He dances.
First down is at the 39-yard line. Willie in motion. Play action fake. Greasy in trouble again. Tries to go to Twilly. The ball batted away.
Greasy's pass was
Good pressure by the Oakland Raider front four. Now it's their regular defensive unit they'd like to have. Art Toms is in there, not healthy, but he's in there with Horace Jones, Otis Sistrunk, and Tony Klein.
Wasn't that 26 Skip Thomas who knocked that pass down? Nice play.
It's one of 4 USC
nice
Trojans playing for the Oakland Raiders. There's the good pressure. Tony Klein just missing. Yep, there's Skip Thomas.
Old Skipperoo. He took some time to develop, too, but he's come around.
6 interceptions last year as he really came into his own. Second down at 10. Wayne Moore, the offensive left tackle for the Miami Dolphins, jumping offsides. The offensive linemen, of course, cannot break their stance. Once they take their three-point stance, they cannot move. There he is, Wayne Moore.
Well, he was getting a little nervous because Tony Klein is really putting the outside pressure on him, and he was just a little apprehensive about Tony Klein's great outside rush. I can see that once in a while. You get a little tight in there.
Second down now and 15. Bob Gracie. He's been sacked 3 times tonight as we take a look at Jake Scott. He's had his problems injury-wise. Great safety man for the Dolphins. Gracie has gone down 3 times attempting to pass with a loss of 29 yards. Gracie again. Out of the pocket. Flying and throwing complete to Jim Mandich. Not enough for the first down, but he got most of it, moving down to the 32-yard line. A 12-yard pickup. Skip Thomas moving over to make the tackle. It'll be third down and 3. 3:05 remaining in the third quarter. Miami, which has never really been close in this ball game, yet if they get on the scoreboard, they'll be right back in it again.
Well, that's it. It could become interesting because the heat begins to take its toll more and more, and Miami is so accustomed to it, even training in it during the summer.
On third down. Bulash as a flag goes down. Bulash was close to a first down, but a flag is down. Too much time.
Bad.
Going against Miami.
Bad for a veteran and poised quarterback normally like Bob Gracie. Bad.
have just been told that Korver will not return to the game tonight, but we do not have an in-depth report on the injury, the extent of the injury to his left knee, so we will not speculate. But Kelvin Korver is out of the ball game. Art Thomas, number 80, is in, replacing him. So Bob Greasy has been taken out of a possible run for the first down, put into the passing position. Larry Seifel is now in at one wide receiver. He's playing in the slot with Larry Seifel. Basically, Miami has 4 deep receivers in the ball game. Complete to Matt Moore. First down. Beautiful pass. Beautiful catch. Fumbled just for a second, but not really fumble. The ball thrown high, not leaping for it, popping it to the air, and then corralling it again. There it is. There you saw it.
And he had all day to pass the ball, and of course that's the result of it. If you give Bob Greasy enough time, he's going to complete them.
16-yard pickup. The ball just short of the 20-yard line. Miami back into their regular throw offense. Nottingham and Bulash now are the 2 setbacks. Nottingham 36, Bulash 31. Bulash. 220 pounds. And when he was at Texas A&M, traveled in 9,600.
We've talked about him before, and the NFL fans are thoroughly familiar with his history by now. He has enormous power, enormous speed when healthy. Frank mentioned the concussions that caused steady dizziness last year. Also, a steadiness of muscle pulls. The man is 220 pounds of muscle. Limping a little as he came out there. Stronger even, I think, than Gift.
And a whole lot bigger. Carries the weight well at 220 pounds. Just short of the first down. It'll be second down. Clock moving with 1:50 showing. Ricky Morris is back in now with Nottingham. Morris 22, Nottingham 36. This is Twilley in motion. Morris gets the first down, moving inside the 10 to the 9. Miami with another sustained drive, and they can make it a ball game if they can get on the scoreboard. But Oakland showing a lot of power. Greasy up to the line of scrimmage with another first down. First and goal, the ball at the 9. Firing over the middle. Pass intended for Howard Twilley. Could not hold on. Don Chula. His team hurt last year. The loss of Zonka, Warfield, and Kick. Decimated during the preseason, I guess is the proper word for the injuries that some of his key players have suffered. 5 players who started against the Oakland Raiders in the AFC playoff a year ago are not in the lineup tonight. Second and goal. Nottingham spinning and twisting. He's inside the 5. Nottingham tackled there by Toms in pursuit. It still leaves Greasy with a problem. The ball will be marked just short of the 3-yard line, and it's third down.
It leaves him with a big problem, Frank. Do you pass or do you run on this down, Gift?
Well, they have some high-priced ball players as far as backs are concerned. I think if they have only 3 yards, let them run it and see if they can't pick up 3 for $65,000 apiece.
I pass.
Cannot make the first down. It's third and goal. So does Greasy. Greasy. Twilley caught the ball. Had to come out of the end zone to catch it. fourth down. All right. And trailing 24-7. I know we will not see your premium. And that's the end of the first quarter. The end of the third quarter here in Miami. The Dolphins a foot away from a touchdown with fourth down. We'll be back in the Orange Bowl right after this.
Watch the hilarious Welcome Back, Kotter tomorrow night at 8:30, 7:30 Central.
Runs like this one helped me lead the Raiders in rushing for the fourth consecutive year. That was a great moment for me, but I'd like to tell you the story of Betty Jacks that involves some other great moments. Betty was a victim of cerebral palsy, and for 7 years she depended on the United Way home health aides to help her on a daily basis. She never forgot that care, which was received when she needed it the most. Today, Betty volunteers to help others. Thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. 15 minutes of regulation play scheduled for the Orange Bowl here in Miami. The Miami Dolphins have a fourth down. The ball has now been placed inside the 1-yard line. Howard Twilley caught a third down pass from Gracie. He was in the end zone, had to come out. So the pressure is on the Miami Dolphins. They need this touchdown desperately. Gets the call, and he gets into the end zone.
Boy, he did it on sheer individual power. And they should have had it 2 plays ago, in my opinion.
Don Shula looks on as the Dolphins are back in the football game. yards in 15 plays. And Don Shula is obviously upset. Probably by the call of the completion from Gracie to Twilley. Here's Gary Premium. Good. For the Oakland Raiders, now lead the Miami Dolphins 24-14.
All right, let's look at that pass play that's caused at least some concern on the part of Don Shula and yours truly. There's Gracie moving to his left, throwing the Twilley. That's going to be hard to tell, but you can understand Shula's cause they're pushed back by the tackler, so it's questionable. Okay, it's a tough one. We'll grant that. Now let's look at the touchdown play. Big Boo forcing it. Look, being thrown back and then pushing his way over 2 men. Sheer individual power.
Just good running by Norm Bulash, who was the key factor in that drive of 80 yards by the Miami Dolphins. Carrier Premium will kick off deep. Harold Hart, 34. Jess Phillips, 35. Harold Hart, and he'll run. Well, now he'll have to go. Harold Hart, he will probably go all the way.
No question about it.
Wow, 101 yards by the second-year man from Texas Southern. Woo. And how often do you see that? He hesitated. Tried to stay in the end zone, changed his mind, and you see that so often on kickoff returns. Player will follow the ball, then they'll run all the way, they'll make a mistake, and all of a sudden it opens up.
Watch this again. You'll see a scythe, really, up the middle. That was the quick hesitation that Frank mentioned.
Phillips had told him to stay in the end zone. And he started to go back, and you better believe he's happy he didn't. 101 yards.
It looks so easy when it works so well.
George Blanda.
You talk about taking the heart out of a team, Frank, just when Miami had wrought back a brilliantly sustained drive. using the ground so effectively with occasional passing by Greasy. Bulash, as you pointed out, hitting so well through the line. And then back in the ball game, poof.
Offsides indicated against Miami before the ball was even snapped. Landa hits for the conversion, and the Raiders now move out to a 31-14 lead over Miami. There's Harold Hart, a very happy Harold Hart.
Lots of people have a favorite airline.
Which airline, folks?
United.
United, please. The same.
Right.
Don't let your good land pass you by.
Pass you by. Celebrate a proud.
United's friendship service has a way of making you feel we're flying just for you.
Stretching out in glory. Proud
There's a spirit you'll find only in the friendly skies.
Come along, sing the song.
More people choose United, Mother Country's favorite airline.
The friendly skies of your land. United Airlines.
Have a good trip. Nice talking to you.
Minutes and 37 seconds remaining in the fourth and final quarter from Miami. And Harold Hart has just gone 101 yards for the Oakland Raiders.
Well, look at that stat. Boy, that's revealing. The Dolphins need special team work.
Ray Guy. Put in it. This will be Freddie Solomon at the 5. Solomon out over the 25, out to the 26. Lewis Carter down there to make the stop for Oakland. Little Freddie Solomon would not duplicate Hart's spectacular run. Hart, who had been told to stay into the end zone by the other deep man, Jess Phillips, hesitated, stepped back in, then realized he couldn't.
I love the way Garl
went.
Did you see Garl try to chase him down the sidelines there? He didn't know what to do if he caught up with him, for crying out loud. He wouldn't know what to do with him.
First down, Miami. Bob Gracie will have to unlimber the arm if they're to have any hope here today. Sistrunk with the pressure of the screen pass to Bulash. Bulash slips as he crosses the 30-yard line. It'll be a gain of 6, second down and 4.
Frank, I am advised that President Ford is on his way back to Washington now. And, of course, in the light of the threat upon his life today, we'll be cutting back and forth with our news people, ABC, to keep you up to date. Developments, President's return to the national camp.
All right, second down and 4. The ball at the 32-yard line. There's Morris on the quick toss. And Monty Johnson coming over from middle linebacking. Makes the stop after Willie Brown comes up from his cornerback spot. Loss of a yard.
This Garl, number 1 jersey. I don't think he's a number 1 tackler, though. He's
an old teammate of yours.
Yes,
Detroit, wasn't he, Alex?
He played the first 2 years with us, and didn't really know what the extra point and field goal, how much it was worth. He really didn't. He thought field goals were 4 points.
Third down and 6. Ball at the 32. The setbacks are Seipel, Winfrey, good receivers in the passing situation. Crazy throws to Nat Moore behind him, and Nat Moore pays the price of receivers coming over the middle. Collected there by Monty Johnson. Fourth down, Miami. Out comes the punting unit.
Oakland at this point must be feeling very good. The jinx of the past, 5 straight losing opening games. Oakland this year has one of the easier schedules in the NFL. Their 2 toughest remaining games, and I know we're just beginning, but as I scan the schedule, appear to be Cincinnati and Washington.
Larry Seipel, single safety, Neil Colsey. Beautiful kick that backs Colsey all the way to his 20. Trying for the picket line. He will not get there. Steve Toll down there quickly. 48-yard punt, 7-yard return. We'll return to Miami in just a moment.
Metropolitan life takes you back to a time when you were very young and the future was far away.
Wendy, Tommy's here.
Come on in, son.
Thank you, sir.
Do I look sophisticated enough?
Yes, honey, yes. You look sophisticated enough. Come on.
Nervous.
Is Wendy ready?
You gonna wear that?
It's for you.
Remember the rented tux and the corsages that ended up pressed between the pages of a diary? Somehow years have passed since then. And if this seems like only yesterday, imagine how soon tomorrow will be here. At Metropolitan Life, we help you get ready for the future before it arrives. With insurance for your kids' education, for your own retirement, for your future. See your Metropolitan representative. Because if this seems like only yesterday, can the future be far away? Metropolitan, where the future is now.
Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Alex Karras in the Orange Bowl of Miami. First game for the Miami Dolphins, first game for the Oakland Raiders, and the Raiders have been awesome in every respect. They lead 31-14. They have a 1st and 10. Kenny Stabler going all the way at quarterback. Hands off to Mark Van Egan, who has performed well, the second-year man from Colgate. He gets a couple his 2nd and 8.
Hi there. Recognize this fella? Sure, you remember Star Trek. Now the #1 man in our new series on Monday nights, Barbary Coast. Bill Shatner, of course. Good to have you aboard.
Oh, I was enjoying the game until that run back, and then that really ripped them apart. Barbary Coast comes on in most parts of the country just before this game, so we're telling the folks, watch next week. But on the West Coast, watch it after Monday Night Football.
Okay. How's it going?
It's going well. I'm glad the throws are working.
We've got a fumble, so we'll get back to you later.
Mark Van Egan gave up the football on the fumble.
We may have a game yet, Bill Shatner.
Randy Crowder made the recovery. First and 10 for Miami. They trail 31-14. Let's take a look at it again. Mark Van Egan. He scored for the Oakland Raiders a few moments ago. And Miami has a 1st and 10. They're at Oakland's 32-yard line. Nottingham and Mercury Morris are the setbacks. Coming up with the interception, Willie Brown, as the ball was overthrown. Intended for Nat Moore. Otis Sistrunk, as he has been all night in the offensive backfield of the Miami Dolphins.
You know, Greasy's just not having his regular night out there, and
no, that could have been a touchdown.
Yeah, I don't know what his problem is. Maybe he's a little leery of the fact that he isn't even throwing those swing passes like he normally does. He's only 9 for 20 for 112 yards, and that's not a good day for Greasy.
No, but maybe he's human.
2nd down. Dan Winfrey, number 33, is in there, the rookie from Arkansas State. Second-round draft pick. He has a lot of speed, as does Mercury Morris. Nat Moore gets the 1st down as the flag goes down at the line of scrimmage. Nat Moore with another clutch catch, but again, a flag is down at the line of scrimmage. The discussion with Bob Greasy would indicate that The penalty will be against the Raiders, which it is, and you saw Bob Gracie nodding to referee Jim Tunney. No, we'll take the play. Personal foul called against Oakland, declined. Well, it occurred after the reception, so therefore the penalty is tacked on. There was the reception, another fine catch by Nat Moore. There's the personal foul indicated against Oakland. And Horace Jones picked up the personal foul. The penalty tacked on after the completion. So Miami has a first and goal. They trail 31-14. Gracie went like Twilly. Twilly fell down. Gracie will have to run. And a flag goes down in the end zone. We could have pass interference. Howard Twilly was trying to get open in the end zone. Tony Klein was pressuring Gracie. There it is. Call going against Oakland. I think it's an illegal chucking call that's going to go against the Raiders. Greasy again. The options being explained.
Let's have another look at this, Alex, especially our young friend from Bowling Green, Phil Villapiano.
Well, number 41, Phil Villapiano, we've talked about him a lot of times and his versatility on the football field. He can go, wide and he can come in and make the tackle on the inside. And we'll get to him in just a minute.
Call, illegal use of hand against Howard Twilly. Atkinson, the defensive safety man of Oakland, the guilty Oakland Raider. First and goal. Dropped the football. Mercury Morris dropped it, but he came back up with it. Don Shula looking concerned as well he should. There's John Madden. He always looks concerned.
A lot of things got to happen very fast for Miami to get back in this game. They need this touch. They need another quick break, a turnover.
Bob Greasy will drive you crazy close to the goal line because you don't know if he's going to pass on first down like he did this time or run it, and he drives you absolutely nuts as far as the defense is concerned. We don't know what he's going to do when you're a defensive ball player.
Second down, the ball inside the 2. Morris backfields into the end zone. And out come the waving white handkerchief. Has become a tradition here in the Orange Bowl.
Up and over, Giffer. That's the way to get in when you're in that tight.
Garo Yepremian trots out. He will try to bring the Dolphins to within 10. Earl Morrow will hold. Dolphins moving 32 yards in 5 plays. Dolphins 21, the Oakland Raiders 31. We'll be back in Miami in just a moment.
Ford Motor Company announces a dramatic increase in its average gas mileage rating for 1976 cars over 1975. Based on estimated EPA sales-weighted figures, we project an average rating increase of 27%. An increase of 27% in just 1 year. Of course, some individual gains were not as dramatic as this average since their big improvements were made in 1975 models, like our MPG cars introduced in June. Remember, these results are estimates based on EPA's combined city highway test, so the actual mileage you get may be different. But this impressive gain in our mileage rating has been accomplished without sacrificing the strength, the riding comfort, or safety features you expect in cars from Ford Motor Company. See our family of cars with a 27% average mileage rating gain at your Ford and Lincoln Mercury dealers October 3rd.
A look from the Goodyear Blimp Mayflower at the Orange Bowl in Miami, and not a fan is left as the Miami Dolphins have moved to within 10 of the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders have 9 men very close to Gary Yepremian, who's kicking off. They're obviously anticipating an onside kick. They do not get it. And Yepremian puts it in and out of the end zone, touchback. Harold Hart was the lone safety for Oakland. But we will not get an onside kick with 10:33 remaining. And there's a touchdown. Mercury Morris going up and over. Jack Tatum was there, could do nothing. So now the Dolphins defensive unit is getting the cheers of the Dolphin fans. They want to...
Excuse me, Frank. They got to get the ball back. They know it. And that front four is really going to have to scramble now and physically try to beat up that team and get the ball back.
Kenny Stabler, who has completed 8 passes tonight to 8 different receivers. Harold Hart. Hart. On the other couple of yards, it'll be 2nd and 8.
On the other side of the coin, I wouldn't recommend that Oakland get too conservative in its play, Alex. It can find itself suddenly having to get rid of the football.
Well, if you're going to go run it 2 downs and have 3rd down and 7 to go and then start to throw the ball, an interception could occur and the game could switch right around again.
Cliff Branch and Mike Siani are the 2 wide receivers for Oakland. 2nd down and 8. The ball is at 22. Banaszak. The crowd goes crazy as Banaszak is thrown for a loss by Randy Crowder and Tim Foley.
Tim Foley got in there beautifully then.
There he is, Tim Foley. You don't hear much about him, but he always is around the ball.
Young man from Purdue. Highly intelligent fellow. Steady player.
3rd down now for Stabler. There's John Madden. 9:24. The clock is moving in the 4th and quarter of the game from Miami. First game for both ball clubs. Both heavily favored in their division. Gene Upshaw, the left guard, says, I cannot hear. Very happy crowd as Miami appears to be moving again, although they still are 10 points away. Frank Gifford along Alex Karras and Howard Cosell live from Miami.
This is what you would call a nonpartisan crowd.
Speaking of live, Howard Cosell again will be live Saturday night, live with Howard Cosell. Alex Karras will be there. He'll be out in San Diego with the Eagles live this Saturday night. And
Balboa Stadium.
Red Fox, another great cast. Linda Ronstadt. John Wayne. All Saturday night with Howard live. Saturday night live with Howard Cosell. Great show last Saturday. Okay. Crowd hopefully has calmed down a little. 3rd and 10. Picks up in the backfield and Hart maybe gets a yard. Tell me they're not excited.
Well, one mistake by Miami, Frank, and you'll hear boos.
Well, they paid a lot of money to get in here.
I don't like to see Oakland doing what they're doing right now, Frank. They're a little too conservative for me. Maybe they figure their defense can stop Miami, but all they need is a touchdown. They're right back in the ball game.
I agree with you.
Shades of last year. The Raiders of Buffalo, and what a dramatic finish that was. 21-20 win for Buffalo. And okay, Ray Guy is going to punt for Oakland. Deep is Freddie Solomon. Charlie Babb is up short. Babb bobbles the ball, and Solomon saves it at the 39-yard line. Oh, and you heard the breath escape from these 80,000 screaming fans.
All right, we've got 8 minutes, 11 seconds to go. The Dolphins have 10 points to make up. The Raiders 31, the Dolphins 21. The Dolphins trailing all night, apparently listening scoreless and out of the game after Harold Hart erupted for a kickoff return of 101 yards to increase the lead of the Raiders at the time to 17. But the Dolphins recovered a fumble, the fourth Oakland turnover of the game, moved in for the score, 31-21. The Dolphins must move and move fast to have a chance for it.
Wow. Get all that, Alec. Here. All right. First and 10 from the 39-yard line. End around. This is Matt Moore. Matt Moore, and you don't trick the Oakland Raiders often. Tony Klein was there, 84. Art Tom's 80. A pickup of 2. It'll be second down and 8.
Time already a factor because the Dolphins need 2 scores, not 1. Too much time can't be spent on the ground, yet Greasy will want to keep the Raiders honest in both directions. Tough situation, especially against a team so good as the Raiders.
Another Goodyear blimp shot of the jam-packed Orange Bowl of Miami. And Larry Seipel has been sent in by Don Shula to give Bob Greasy an extra passing receiver. He's a good one. Greasy, complete, and then dropped by Norm Bullock.
President Ford is in the diplomatic reception room of the White House. After a quick flight from San Francisco, he's now talking.
Those that were associated with them because they had the help of others. But the most important thing is that I don't think any person as president or any person in any other major political office ought to cower in the face of a limited number of people out of 214 million Americans who want to take the law into their own hands. The American people expect, and I approve of it, in fact, I think it's right, want a dialogue between them and their president or other public officials. And if we can't have that opportunity of talking with one another, seeing one another, shaking hands with one another, something has gone wrong in our society. I don't think these individuals who want to destroy our society and tear up our fabric of relationship represent America. The American people are good people. Democrats, independents, Republicans, and others. Under no circumstances will I, and I hope no others, capitulate to those that want to undercut what's all good in America. The American people are strong, they're good, and they will reflect the leadership that comes from the people in public office. And the leadership must likewise be strong and good. And I'm confident whether that leadership is Democratic or Republican, will be good and will be strong. That's the way America can give the leadership to the world that's essential in these crucial times. It's wonderful to be home. It's good to see our family. It's good to see the Vice President and Mrs. Rockefeller. And it's, I think, important that we, as a people, don't capitulate to the wrong element. A limited number, an infinitesimal number of people who want to destroy everything that's best about America. I won't, I'm sure the Vice President won't, I'm sure Democratic leaders won't. We're going to stand tall and strong in this confrontation with a limited number of people who don't represent all of us.
President Ford, speaking after the second attempt on his life in 17 days, now back in Washington, safe in the White House. This is Harry Reasoner. Now back to ABC Sports.
We're back at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida. We've got 5:35 to go. Raiders 31, Dolphins 21. Penalty has just been imposed against the Oakland Raiders. It's third down, 2 to go. The ball on the Raiders 38. The Miami Dolphins with the ball, desperately trying to get back into the game. And here is the one and only Giffer.
And while we were away, Mandich picked up a 1 first down with a 12-yard reception. As Howard mentioned, his third down, 3 yards to go. The ball just short of the 38. The score of the Raiders 31, the Dolphins 21, 5:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. And it's picked off, deflected, and then picked off by Art Toms. We don't know who deflected, but Art Toms made the interception.
That's my man, Alex.
Well, he should have never been around the football. He should have been way back in the quarterback, and he was right on the line of scrimmage and knocked it down, Howard. Golly gee. That isn't where he's supposed to be playing.
I found it a most felicitous position at that moment.
Let's look at it again. Gracie going to the air on third down. And it was Art Toms who deflected it. And then pursued the ball and came up with the interception. A super play by Art Toms.
And the man in front of Art Toms was the best center in the NFL, 62, Jim Langer, which makes it even more so.
Time now becoming a serious factor for the Dolphins. Clock moving, 5:24. There's Art Toms. He was not expected to play. They did not want to play him. Corver started, Kelvin Corver. He hurt his knee, went out, and Art Toms, with a badly pulled muscle, has played a superb football game.
Frank, by the way, to show the fans the kind of night Gracie's been having, he's 12 for 26 with 2 interceptions. Gained 141 yards through the air.
Second down and 4. Banaszak over the 45 to the 46. It'll be third down and 1. Banaszak having a nice evening. He replaced the injured Marv Hubbard. He's had 64 yards on the night. Against the Miami Dolphins, that's not bad.
Thank heavens the president is back in the national capital, having landed at the Andrews Air Force Base, and you've all just seen our cutaway to the president upon his return, and of course Harry Reasoner of ABC News.
Third down. Banaszak, and twisting and turning to midfield, getting the first down, Pete Banaszak. This Saturday, ABC Sports again will bring you NCAA college football with 4 exciting regional games. North Carolina State at Michigan State, Illinois at Texas A&M, Maryland at Kentucky, and San Jose State against Stanford. Stanford, of course, with that, well, I guess you could call it a great tie against Michigan because they were really the underdogs in that one. Illinois, of course, led Missouri at the halftime before finally losing that one. Regional NCAA college football coming up Saturday, and be sure and check your local listing for the game that you will see in your area. Ball right at midfield. Jess Phillips over the right side, and he just gets back to the line of scrimmage. You know, Foley moving up from his cornerback spot.
The fates of an athletic career are really so strange and twisting and often perilous. Things you don't read about, perhaps, in the eastern part of the country or even hear about. Pete Banaszak, number 40, has had a great evening here tonight. Yet 2 weeks ago, it was an open secret that Oakland was ready to trade him. Instead, they had to let Charlie Smith go, as we told you earlier. Because of Banaszak's greater versatility. Gift.
Mark Van Egan. And Mark Van Egan running well tonight. The Oakland Raiders with 7 running backs still on their roster. First down for the Oakland Raiders. After tonight, Oakland will play, of course, 2 games each with the teams in their division over the season. Denver, Kansas City, and San Diego. Also, they're going to play Cleveland, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Houston of the AFC. And then from the NFC, they'll play New Orleans and Atlanta. Next week, they go up the East Coast. They'll meet Baltimore, while Miami will be up in New England. Here's Jess Phillips. Fumble the football. Miami has the ball. Clock stopped with 2 minutes and 8 seconds. So don't go away. John Andrews. John Andrews, and he is, well, I thought he was shaken up for a moment. But John Andrews came up with the football for Miami. 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Let's look at it again. Phillips turning the corner. Goes down, really tripping over his own man, number 63, Gene Upshaw. So Miami has the job. They have 2 minutes and 8 seconds. They need a touchdown. They need an onside kick, perhaps, and a field goal to move into a tie and sudden death. Those are possibilities, only possibilities. Goulash. Goulash down to the 45-yard line of Oakland. Tackled there by Bill Villapiano, a gain of 18. And there is the 2-minute warning. Raiders 31, Dolphins 21. 2 minutes remaining. We'll be back.
Eddie, you got a razor for this wire? Yeah. And one for this fuzz?
Prima donnas.
The same razor?
Sure. Track 2 razors, but with adjustable cartridges. There are 5 settings. You use high, you low. And you'll both get that great Track 2 shave.
The Gillette Track 2 razor with regular or adjustable cartridges. The closest thing to a perfect shave.
Eddie, terrific shave.
25 prima donnas, one great razor.
Cricket lighter is really quite a light. It'll last for months and still burn bright. Whew, it's not easy being America's favorite disposable lighter. You've got to be dependable, adjustable, and most of all, you've got to be packed with thousands of lights.
Cricket, you missed one.
Oh, no. Get thousands of surefire lights. Catch a Cricket lighter by Gillette.
Here's John Andrews, a rookie in the NFL. Played with Birmingham last year in the WFL. Before that, he had been up in Canada a couple of years. He had been drafted number 7 by Detroit a few years ago. Very happy youngster looking on as Miami tries to get back into the football game. That's the 5th Oakland turnover. The 45-yard line. 3 timeouts remaining for Miami. And it goes to Goulash, and Goulash gets maybe a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Skip Thomas has played a fine football game at defensive cornerback for Oakland, up there to make the stop. Just short of the 43-yard line for Miami. Willie out to the left, Matt Moore to the right. Crazy putting both backs out. Trying to Mercury Morris. Throwing low and behind. Now Seipel will come in, giving Bob Greasy that extra receiver coming out of the backfield. Seipel, a real fine athlete.
Well, as the game nears its end, Frank, it's time to look ahead. It's only the first game of the season. There'll be many ups and downs for both teams, even for Oakland, as strong as they've looked tonight. But Miami is not a team to be reckoned out of anything because of this loss. They're losing this game to a powerhouse team. They're in a tough division, but they still, I think, should be favorites to win their division. Buffalo will have to beat them.
5-man secondary prevent defense by Oakland. Colsey's in there. Greasy has Matt Moore wide open. And good recovery by Neil Colsey, the number 1 draft pick. Neil Colsey. And what a recovery he made because Matt Moore was deep behind both Atkinson and Colsey. And that's why Colsey was the great All-American that he was at Ohio State. Watch him accelerate. Ball thrown just a little behind, but not that poorly thrown. And fine recovery by Colsey. His momentum carried him into the end zone. The ball will be marked at the 3-yard line. There he is. Played in 3 straight Rose Bowls for Ohio State, as did the number 2 draft pick of the Oakland Raiders. That, of course, Charles Phillips. Phillips from USC. And he is delighted.
That a way to go, Neil.
13 interceptions at Ohio State.
We'll be in Denver next Monday night. The Pack against the Broncos, and the Broncos always give you an exciting game.
Stabler hands off to Mark Egan. You better believe, before he handed off in the huddle, he said, hold on to it. Because Miami will be tackling the football down to 1 minute. And Miami uses one of their timeouts to stop the clock. John Madden looking on, feeling comfortable with a 10-point lead. We'll be back in a moment.
The American worker. Some people have forgotten the craftsmanship he brings to his job. Some say he's not as important as he used to be. Well, to that, we politely answer, bunk. At Zenith, Americans like these produce the color TV that service technicians named more than any other as the one that needs fewest repairs. American workers, Zenith workers. They make sure the quality goes in before the name goes on.
Mr. Gleason, here's the loan for your radio station.
$5 million.
And Mrs. Kane, the loan for your dress factory.
$2 million.
And Mr. Cooper, the loan for your family room.
$1,800.
Commercial credit thanks you all.
Wonder why I'm here with all these big business types? Why not? When I get a loan, I get it from the money experts, too.
Need a personal loan? Go where the smart money goes. Commercial credit.
Hey, lots of luck with the radio station.
1 minute remaining in the Orange Bowl for Miami. As some of the people start to leave, they have seen some real interesting football tonight. Miami, several times, looked like they were battling back into the ball game. They trail 31-21 with that 1 minute remaining. They have 2 timeouts. And Banaszak gets the call again, as obviously Ken Stabler is working on the clock. Miami uses another timeout. They have 1 remaining. Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell and Alex Karras. We've seen a powerhouse Oakland Raider team, and I think you can understand as you look at the 48-year-old wonder. He played in his 211th consecutive football game tonight, Alex.
Yeah, and he set a new record for showers. It's just 27,397 showers with the guys. Isn't that an amazing record, Frank?
You know, out of a possible 326 games that George could have played in, or rather 340 games, he played in 326 of them. I played against him when he was a linebacker of the Chicago Bears.
I played against him when he was 12 years old.
George Blanda. That's
Big Jim Otto now.
You know, they were tied, too, coming into tonight with 210 consecutive games. Our blimp tonight, the Mayflower, was provided by Goodyear, giving us some spectacular shots. 56 seconds. Pete Banaszak gets the call, and Miami kills it for the final time, their last timeout. Our air travel arrangements have been made through, and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United, of course, the airline of the pros. This year, 16 of the 26 NFL teams will enjoy United Friendship Charter service. Fourth down. Ray Guy will come out. He'll hunt from his own end zone. Obviously, Miami will go for the block. Freddie Solomon is back deep, as is Charlie Babb. Oakland Raiders will stay in the East after tonight. They play Baltimore next Sunday. Miami travels to New England. We, of course, will be in Denver for the Denver Broncos and the Green Bay Packers. And, oh, it was close. Freddie Solomon. And 7 Raiders were downfield under that high towering kick of Ray Guy. So Miami will take over. They have no timeouts remaining. There are 42 seconds remaining in the game. They have never been closer than 10 points after Oakland opened up a 17-0 lead. But again, as Howard mentioned earlier, the Miami Dolphins and the Oakland Raiders are really the cream of the crop in the NFL. So neither one could be counted out of their divisional races. obviously will put the ball in the air. Looking over the middle for more, and he holds on. He's down to the 22-yard line. Miami hustling up to the line of scrimmage, and watch the Raiders. They'll take their time. In fact, they'll just saunter back there. And now the referee will stop the clock. Referee Jim Tunney says, come on, Raiders, you're taking a little bit too much time. Miami, of course, has no more timeouts. Now they'll start the clock. Greasy will probably throw a quick square out, just unloading it, killing the clock. Who has it? Nobody. Skip Thomas in a battle with Howard Twilley, or rather Jack Tatum back there. Clock counting down to 13 seconds on that play. And it was ruled an interception. Jack Tatum.
Yep. Oakland ends its jinx. 5 straight losses on opening night or day, as it were. Road games. And Miami loses a game in the Orange Bowl.
4th interception tonight of Bob Greasy.
Al Davis is superstitious, too, because he talked to Frank and I before the game, and he was moaning and groaning about his team not being 100%, a lot of injuries, and I think he was trying to tell us that he might lose tonight.
Yeah, but there has to be an end even to the miracle of Shula as Frank picks up with the closing play-by-play.
It will be the closing play because Miami can no longer stop the clock.
How can you lose? Zonka, Kick, Warfield, Dick Anderson, Nick Bonacani. Tonight, Manny Fernandez and Bob Heinz hold together. The final score, the Oakland Raiders 31, the Miami Dolphins 21. Let's move it right over to New York and to Harry Reisner for a report on the present.
Thank you, Howard. President Ford had just finished a busy 3 days in California today. He was in high spirits. His last scheduled event was a television interview. As he left the St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco after the interview, he told an aide he thought all had gone well. A crowd of about 3,000 was gathered in Union Square when the president came out in the bright sunshine. He was relaxed, and Secret Service agents and police were scanning the crowd, looking everywhere but at the president in approved security manner. As the shot was fired, the president looked suddenly apprehensive. Secret Service agents began to react. The cheers of the crowd turned to screams and shouts. The president and an agent next to him hunched down and started for the presidential limousine as other agents looked in the direction of the firing. Mr. Ford and a phalanx of Secret Service agents were at the car in seconds. The president was inside, and without pause, the car sped off in the direction of the airport. That's how that brief scene looked in moving pictures. Tonight, ABC's Tom Shell talked with 2 eyewitnesses to the shooting, San Francisco police officers, and asked them what they had seen.
2 San Francisco policemen were standing very close.